Hey everyone, welcome back to Play Casket with another episode of Your Turn after a nice little week of a break. We all had a lot of weird busy stuff. We had to get stuff done. It's okay. The gaming industry really didn't do anything. It put on pause too. So I thank you, game industry. But
a lot kind of happened.
A lot kind of happened after that though. When we started coming back in, they're like, oh yeah, things happen. I'm like, why do you do things? Like, stop doing that.
We're on vacation.
It's not even like gaming industry. The whole media apparatus is just being stupid. Quit proving the conspiracy theories right. That's just all I'm saying.
I'm
running out of them. I'm running out of them, dude. I am running out of them. But this podcast is not for that. But we're gonna go into it. Gonna go on some light stuff, and then I'll also kind of at the end kind of give a small recap of the most recent event that even happened today during this recording and yesterday, which was Blizzcon. And as a proponent and a invested player of many Blizzard games and all my life, I still can't not just leave it. I keep going to see if I can simp it. That's every time I'm like, am I going back this year? No. Am I going to do it next year? We'll find out. But I'll give a recap on the end of that, but we're going to go ahead and start late. Basically, another thing that we can just kind of laugh at. Sakurai, again, got interviewed about Smash Brothers, because obviously when there's no Smash Brothers, we got to make sure we can rumor about Smash Brothers, and if it's a whole thing. It's a giant cycle, right? And Sakurai basically said, we might have to reboot the whole franchise again. So, before, Sakurai has said this since, Brawl? I think he said this since Brawl. He's like, I don't know how much bigger we can get. This is really huge, guys. And then he does it. And then he's like, I don't know, man. It's really huge, guys. Then he does it. Every single time he said it. Now, the thing is, and we've talked about this on our Smash recap episode as well. Basically, unless there's enough time for him to develop it, meet expectations, exceed that a little bit for launch, so it entices more people to come back, so they don't keep saying, "Oh, it's just Smash Brothers 4, but ported to whatever, and just charge you more money." They still have to add a little bit more to that. I think would require a lot of development, right? I mean, when you think about it, Ultimate was from concept to complete finish was 7 years. So in order to get it out at a reasonable time for our next console, it should have already been in development for a year before Sora was released. And I don't think that was the case this time. I think Sakurai is actually even, taking a break and stuff. If they are going to do anything new, and they still need something that would be Smash Brothers-y to the Nintendo community and the new system, and they need it in a timely manner, chances are we're probably going to see a port of Ultimate.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Honestly, and the thing is, they don't really need to add much more to it. Honestly, they could
There's so many characters. There's 50 now?
Well, we're not even talking about characters in general. There's some people who kind of miss trophies. Right? Collecting trophies and stuff. And I totally get it. I actually, that's one of the reasons why I really love the amiibos, because it was a realistic version of the trophies. And the trophies inspired me that a while back, before I even met you, I tried to get into the premium toy collectible era so I could make my own licensed versions of those and kind of make my own really dynamic Smash Brothers trophies, but it didn't take off and all that. It was disheartening to the Goblin community. but I can understand the thing. But overall, the spirits, I think, have a little bit more context to them, a little bit more importance to them, because most of them, not all, most of the spirits have fights connected to them that represent those characters or those items, or something part of that character's upkeep and growth. Maybe even part of the game that you meet a particular character and stuff. There's a lot that goes into each one of these, right? And there's a lot of Smash Brothers YouTubers out there that have already covered this repeatedly. So I'm not going to be one of them. But I do think adding a mode just like a diorama mode that you can like arrange characters and shapes and sizes of all those spirits and kind of get your own little like basically event kind of looking, and then you share it with social media. I think would be a mode that I could see them adding, because it won't take as much effort, it won't take as much space. Because imagine them trying to make a trophy area, like just all those models and stuff that you just have to keep in tow to see how many you're going to be able to unlock with whatever coins or what have you and stuff. I think it's just I don't think it'd be smart, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, God, there's so much stuff already.
Yeah.
I think it'll, if anything, like, it just needs to be different enough. Like, the only thing I can see is if like Sakurai is like, oh well, it's powerful enough to do this now. They're gonna add that on, and then just be like, this is the new Smash 2 for Switch 2.
Yeah, I think the Ultimate or Ultimate X. I'm just gonna call it Ultimate X because it just sounds cool. I guess this is the edgelord in me. But that type of port, I can see it. You know, all the characters are out. Wrap that up. Add maybe 3 or 4. And what if they also even reached in and kind of redid a couple of the old ones, like kind of picked Mario back out and kind of changed them up a bit more to kind of more relate to stuff, you know, or DK and giving them like a little ranged attack that's like a barrel throw or something. You know?
Nah, people go nuts for that.
Oh well, they did that. They did that with Zelda already, or Link necessarily. They did that with Link with Breath of the Wild.
If anything, the only thing I can think is if they like fix some stuff up and then make certain smashes like more efficient, and then like
well, they'll probably do that
fat.
too. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. I could see them like still taking that opportunity to kind of take 1 or 2, depending on how good they get. You know, how much distance they get out of one character, and see if they have time for another, and kind of redo them. Because there's a couple characters out there, because Smash is so old. Some of the older characters just don't reflect some of the gameplay mechanics that they're known for. You know.
Yeah.
There was a guy out there that did a series called Know Your Moves, and he basically kind of broke down a lot of the stuff as to why the moves mattered and why the stats mattered and stuff like that. Since Mario, for instance, like Mario being an all-rounder and stuff, and kind of gave an idea why he's so basic is because a lot of people approach Mario in a very simplified manner. And in fact, him as a character is very simplified.
Yeah.
You know,
Ryu.
You know, so
Jin.
so stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I could see some of that. Like I could probably see him pull out maybe. I mean, they changed a little bit of characters over time too. Like Kirby, they changed a little bit on and stuff too. I could see them changing a little bit on a couple of the Fire Emblem characters and kind of change a couple, maybe get one of them rid of the counter. Because the only reason why the counters are added on so many of the Fire Emblem characters, because basically that's part of the mechanic of Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay.
When you attack, the other character attacks back.
Okay. Yeah.
So, especially in Melee, all Melee attacks each other. Like, yeah, every time. So when you attack, they attack back. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
Right? And that's why they all have a counter. And the one guy that I mentioned did that. And I mentioned that. And I'm like, it makes sense because, in a way, it was literally taking your turns to attack in an RPG. And same thing with Persona. Joker does a lot of, like, stat changes to your character, which is very important in Persona series. So I can see them taking a couple of the characters, and kind of bringing more of that game into the character. And if they do so far, they'll probably go even further and do a second character. But I could see a port kind of giving them an opportunity to be able to do that, because they won't have to focus on getting all the characters built from scratch again.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've done. In spite of a lot of people keep saying that Ultimate's just a port of 4, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It plays really, really different.
Dude, not only does it play different, but like there's modes in there that don't even matter anymore. Like if it was in Ultimate, those modes would not work. You know?
Yeah.
On top of that, there's no trophies. And as much as I do like them, I don't see them being. I feel like they're just going to be like a big chunk of wasted space.
Yeah, a lot of people just want to turn it on.
I don't mind giving you trophies for the characters that you can play. You know, maybe add 3 variants and stuff like that, and then you could use them in the same diorama mode I mentioned earlier. That would be pretty neat. And allow people to kind of post it on social media, so it's kind of like their Miiverse without Miiverse. You know, you can see how people would respond, and I think that would actually, honestly, I think it would give it some legs out of the casual group, because honestly, the casual group has an attention span of a bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like flat out. If there's no cool stuff coming anymore, then why should I worry about X game? Like, it doesn't work just with Smash Bros. Or Nintendo games. It happens everywhere. Literally, when they stopped development for Natural Selection earlier this year, Natural Selection 2, there was a bunch of people, even though it was a small group, a small community, there was a bunch out of that community like, well, game's dead. And they just leave. Which, I'm like, dude, these are the people that honestly, like, unless there's some kind of casual interaction, like, oh my god, wouldn't that be cool? And people like, in fact, there was a lot of these guys even admitted that the only reason why they played ARMS or Smash Brothers for as long as they did is the hopes that their favorite character would have got in. Then what? Would you have just been like, wow, this character is awesome, and then leave?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a people out there that were saying that there wasn't enough content for Mario Tennis Aces that came out on the Switch. But that shit had more content than Mario 64 Tennis. And that thing still played to this day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that. What, you know, I don't want to try to overthink it, but it's always just, if you give the casuals something to have them all kind of circle jerk to validation for, they'll hang out around a little bit longer. And I think something like that.
When it comes to, like, really, really high skill level, it's very hard to reach. Like, a lot of people are just like, I just want to play. I don't want to face somebody who's just beat me 50 matches to 0.
There's like 20 million copies of Smash Brothers sold now. There's quite a few people that are still playing it casually.
Oh, okay.
I've done a couple hosts in the Mausoleum when you were gone, and I just would play bets, like just the observation of just people playing, right? And we'll just take bets periodically, you know. Sometimes as a drinking game, sometimes just for fun, but people will just, like, you know, vote on who we bet on, and we bet on that person, and then we watch the game. And it was fun. There's sometimes people were playing really terribly, though. Like, there's some like, oh, why do you spam up B the moment you get off the edge? Dude, you got other jumps.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's stuff like that I could see. That shows that there's still a casual market, but overall, I think, honestly, Sakurai is kind of full of himself. Unless there's a time frame for him to have to develop a new Smash Brothers, which Mario Wonder just came out, said that they even admitted they didn't have a deadline. We were just kind of rolling.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's why a lot of people just love it now. I'm a 3D fan, but the game's still great. I still enjoy it. But I kind of wish that they didn't give us 2 more Toads. It should have just been one of the Toads and Toadette, and then 2 Yoshis that could take damage, and then 2 different colored Nabbits, and then maybe like a Yarn Yoshi, so it's like a different Yoshi that doesn't take damage or something. To that point.
Yeah, okay.
But I digress. But he said this multiple times before.
Yeah.
But I could see it. I could see him just looking at it, going, "How long should I be able to, you know, develop it?" Because when you're a designer, you still gotta think about it. I'm like, will I even be given another 8 years to do this? You know?
Nah, he's gonna let it go.
Well, even if it took him, I honestly think he has a habit of just like overblowing it a little bit too. Because there was a conversation about his other thing he mentioned was that he feels like he's the only guy who's been able to bring third parties into the game, right? Yeah. And from my understanding, it was more of like bringing that experience with that character. You know, Cloud's like Limit Break, for instance. Steve's building, the platformer mayhem that Banjo-Kazooie was known for. Like, there was a lot of mechanics and stuff that feel like you took the game's ideas and turned it into Smash Brothers and then put a character on top of it, which was a great thing, you know? Because people are like, oh, how does building even work in that? That's why Steve wouldn't work. And he made it work. Sure as shit, he made it work. It still looks weird because he animates differently than everyone else. Like, he's not fully animated and stuff, so looks weird, but for the most part, he's able to do that. And there's people who argue, no, because Fortnite exists, multiverses exist, and all that. I'm like, but none of them have been able to bring characters uniquely to life.
Well, another thing too is that like you can't just keep adding band-aids, because it'd be like, here's a slower Mario, but he deals more damage.
Yeah.
Here's a faster Mario, but he deals less damage. Here's a Mario that's more aerial. Here's a Mario that's more grounded. Like,
Yeah.
you need to add more than just like
Well,
speed.
hell, look at DeviantArt. Remember the old days? I think it was back in like Brawl and Smash 4. If you look at that time frame, everyone's like fan made, and I had a couple like this too. Fan made concepts of characters. All traditional, standard, neutral special attacks were all projectiles.
Yeah.
Everyone had a projectile. Everyone, if it was a neutral special, it was immediately a projectile. There was no one that ever did anything different. Every up B was a recover. Every single one was a recover.
Yeah.
But not all of them have to be.
So you need something that'll add to it.
Yeah.
Because if anything, if you strip away all the characters and just make them into like stick figures, yeah, you still need a different kit. So you need something that'll add to, rather than just.
Well, I think it was in Ultimate. I could be wrong. I think technically 4 did it, but Ultimate was the first one to add a poison damage because of Joker, and I think they retroactively changed. No, not just Joker, but Piranha Plant. Both of them can poison.
Oh, okay.
So it's a damage over time that doesn't cause flinching.
Oh, okay.
So it's passive, meaning that once they're poisoned for that brief period, it was boom, 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 boom. You know, not even like that much damage, but it was just enough, right?
Yeah.
That mechanic was not added to the game for this long.
Yeah.
5 games until they finally added it in Ultimate.
Yeah.
So it just shows to you that they have mechanic ideas that they could still bring in.
Yeah.
You know, so I truly believe that. But it was just funny to hear a lot of people like, "Oh, well, this is how simple it is." I'm like, no.
You mean
Well, for instance-
Echo Fighters?
Like when we're talking about Fortnite as the example, they just rehashed the same skeleton over and over. Of course, it's going to be easier to bring as multiple characters as possible because they're all going to do the same floss dance.
Yeah.
You know.
Or wouldn't it just end up like being Splatoon characters where it's just like color changes?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then there's multiverses, which we don't even know is coming out in early 2024, like they said they planned on to it. You know,
It's still in trial?
supposedly people were paying $100 and stuff like that. They had premium editions when they had it, and then they're like, just last minute, oh, thanks for playing the open beta. Bitch, no one knew that was an open beta, dude. Like, no one. Right? And supposedly it's supposed to release in spring 2024, but then there's like whispers that they want to keep quiet because they think WB is going to put the lid on it.
Yeah.
Which honestly I think is going to be pretty sad. Now, I'm not a fan of multiverses, but giving people an option to play that would be very fun, right? But the thing is, using it as an example of saying, oh, Sakurai can't do it, but these guys can. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones is in it. Yeah, Arya Stark is in multiverses, along with Batman, Harley Quinn, Tom and Jerry, Gizmo from Gremlins, Gizmo and Spike from Gremlins, Adventure Time characters and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Arya Stark is cartoonified, but none of her character, none of her kit, none of her design philosophies bring Game of Thrones experience into it.
No, okay.
Batman is probably the closest to that because he has all his gadgets and stuff. So it makes him feel like you're playing Batman. And there's a lot of games out there that have a lot of references to that. Shaggy, most of his skills and teases and taunts are all from memes on the internet.
Oh, okay.
How does that feel like Scooby-Doo, honestly? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand, and like, it's fine if you want to go that route with Shaggy, and obviously WB was fine with you doing that, but the argument of saying that this is better than what Sakurai was doing is just faulty simply because of that.
Yeah.
You know? So for what he said, he is right for now. He could easily be wrong. The next game that comes out that really harnesses something, and honestly, I think it's going to be a game like Rushdown Revolt or Rivals of Ether 2 that have all unique characters that can do whatever they want with themselves. And I think that's the only way they eclipse it. But they would have to be stupid popular to do so. Mm-hmm. and that is just going to be a very hard. Like the gaps are like 3 times bigger than the gap between Digimon and Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know, you can hate Pokemon all you want, but that gap is very clearly there for a reason, because you're one of the very, very few.
Yeah.
So, that being said,
fuck HBO. Right? Fuck HBO. Right?
We don't have a segue. We're just going to pause for a moment and just say fuck HBO. So HBO just caught up, and they just kind of admitted that they have made discourse, fake accounts to cause discourse, to make some of their shows sound better, apparently.
So basically, they came out and said, oh, yeah, we've been using bots to sow discourse, or Discord, or at the very least, like, they would create alternate accounts to defend their shows.
Okay.
Which is sketchy as fuck.
Okay, so yeah, there's that. There's like, they could have been going either way, because the way I read it, they could have been like sowing discourse to be like, look how horrible it is. Like, they're just basically faux victimizing themselves. Mm-hmm. Or they're making fake accounts, be like, you don't understand how awesome they are. They're perfect 10s or whatever. Mm-hmm. Which is stupid, because... Or actually, I think that's because they were running out of money to pay journalists to get perfect 10s on all their votes. Like, literally, like, oh man, this is a horrible movie. I should give this a 10 if I had an extra $500.
Well, that's another thing that goes on top of it, though, because it's like, do you want your access or not? Like, oh, no, we love you guys. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these journalists, and when Nintendo reneged on a lot of the... review copies to, I think it was Kotaku, something like that. One of the companies were trashing Mario and stuff like that, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're not gonna give you." And they're like, "What? Horrible! How dare you? This is horrible! Do you not know what we've been through? What we do for you?" And all, like, it was just like it was like the mask fell off.
Yeah,
it showed how entitled they really are. Like, no. As journalists, we hold the line for you. Really, no. They were literally sitting there like 3 weeks ago saying that Nintendo should make Mario and Luigi a gay couple, and the brothers was just a lie facade thing. And then Nintendo's like, we should not give you any of our games. And they're like, what? No. Oh, I'm so hurt. Woe is me.
We feel attacked.
I feel attacked. Do you not understand this?
No, fuck your review copies.
Twitter, get after them.
Buy it, because you know the pain of your wasted dollar. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Go pay for it.
Dude, that's why Edge still buys their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Edge reviews are far more reliable because of that.
Yeah. Like,
bitch, I spent $40 for this. This is not worth it. Like, you know? There was games out there that are like, oh, dude, if it was $20, I could see this. You know? Like, there's a couple where I've spent like $10 more. I'm like, oh, no, I should have waited. You know? Like, there's several that are like that. There's other ones out there that I'm like, if you give me that, I will pay $80 for it. You know? Like, there's stuff out there for me that I will do that. Like the Final Fantasy collection, dude, $70 was not a hard pill to swallow for me for that.
Yeah.
Like, that was 6 games. 6 games of when Final Fantasy was good. Yeah, I said that. Good. The first 6, good. But like, for me, I was like, yeah, totally. If they release Mega Man Legends Collection, which is just 1, 2, and Tron Bonne, especially with Tron Bonne, for the love of God, please do. That thing's $1,000 on its own. If they did that, right, and they charged $60 to $70 for it, I would buy that, because that is still couple $100 less than trying to buy it now. You know, like, yeah, no, I'm down for that. And then and it's funny because the people who argue over it is going to be like, oh, well, it's because it's old games, therefore it should be cheaper. That's not what the resale value says, dude. Like for instance, Ikaruga, dude. GameCube, when it was only on GameCube, it was like $400. When it finally got announced for the PS4 and the Switch, it tanked to like 160. Well, it tanked below that. It went to like $60 and then it climbed up to about 100 and been stabilized there. But just that drop is humorous to me. You know, like, I'm not hurt by it because I wasn't planning on selling my game anyway. It's just humorous to me because you could see that demand, and people are like, it's an old game. Why would you pay $40 for it? Because it's better than paying $400.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyway, all the way back to HBO.
Fuck HBO, right? Well, because it just goes back to like, if you're ever wondering why the game is shit, but so many people like it, no, you're more than right that it's probably is shit.
No, and that's like, because HBO has came out on it. It's like, oh, it only happened that one time. Bullshit. It was probably because they got caught that one time.
Yeah,
like it makes you wonder how many times they've done it.
Yeah.
That they don't consider it the same thing.
Because it's probably industry standard.
Yeah. You could get... I guarantee it. I mean, like, look how bad the journalists just thrashed Nintendo after they didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Last of Us 2. Oh, everybody loves it. Yeah, all the fucking bots.
Dude, there's not a single person I know that wants Last of Us Remastered Port 2 again. Like, that is bottom of the barrel creative. Like, they're creatively bankrupt. If that's the... What if, guys, I got a vision. We port Last of Us. Bravo. And then, like, everybody's just going to be like, oh, dude, this game is so good. It's worth another Game of the Year award. No, it's not. You are full of it. Everybody has trash talked to you for so long about it now. Do you really think that anybody's really going to praise it now? No. Not even. not even remotely, dude. Like, because if it's happening in HBO, it's happening more than just that one time.
Yeah.
It is clearly happening in video games. Because especially video games, dude. There's so many people who, like, came out in defense of Zoe Quinn.
Yeah.
During the Gamergate era.
Yeah.
There's like, no, it's okay. And I'm not even talking about the political nonsense that happened. Like, she slept with people for reviews. She admitted that, right? That's bad, right? Okay. And then there was people that came out and like, oh, this happens all the time. I don't know why you're a problem now. I'm like, bitch, we didn't know about it until now.
Shut up, bitch.
And so if it happens that for a simple game like hers, you know it happens all the time.
Yeah.
With everything, with other bonuses and stuff for AAA games out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all the people who are saying, Diablo 4 is absolutely perfect and all this. I will go into that. I have been recording a whole thing on Diablo 4. That will be a separate thing. It'll be a rant all on its own. I'm not going to waste your turn on it. But I'll tell you this. It's kind of sort of bullshit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is absolutely right. Like, if it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And because of that, you should honestly makes user scores a hell of a lot more useful. You know, if there's going to be bombs, you know, a lot of people can't keep their mouth shut. So you can just read all the bombs and see if they, like, if review bombing and stuff, and then just read it and go, oh, it's because somebody did something political in it. And then you get to weigh whether or not that was important.
Which kind of reminds me of Skullgirls too, because a lot of people are really pissed off, and then you see the stands come in like, oh, it's not that big a deal. You got what you paid for, and the character's still there. It's not like it changes anything. Meanwhile, literally on Steam, you have a couple of these accounts that played like 2 hours. Like, I think they should remove Felicia out and just replace it with a better character. So they're just fully on gutting out the whole game. And they're like, there's a lot of people like, oh well, as long as the new character would play the same, I think we could really go. That character is literally the mascot character of the game. That's like saying, I love Mario, but they should really get rid of Mario and replace it with Philippe. You know? Like, then people are like, you know what? You're right. Like, Mario's been around for far too long. I think it's time to replace Mario with somebody else that's not Mario. In Mario. You know? Like, it's the most, like, it is the dumbest arguments, but they're there. And I feel like these are these fake accounts that just want to start causing more and more trouble. You know, this guy probably bought it for like $2. Played it enough so they could like, I think I should make this game even worse. Because to them, if they could damage that game into oblivion, it'd be worth the $2 they just spent. Yeah.
Because they would love to just dominate and crush it down. You know? So,
we were right all along. I have a feeling about the uglification of female characters too.
Oh no!
We're right about that. I
swear,
too. We are right about
did
that
you
too.
see? Did you see? Well, did you see the characters? Like, people keep pulling up some of the writers and stuff, and some of the voice actors, and compared it to the characters that are like gross.
Yeah.
And then they pull up one of the writers and like, huh? Why does the writer look like the character but not the actors?
Yeah.
Honestly, here's my problem with it. They should never do that.
Yeah.
They should never go, oh, well, the voice actor should look like the character because that way it's representation. That woman's making a character, a voice of a character. She doesn't need representation. She needs the job.
Yeah.
Mario does not look like Martinet.
I don't care if Mario looks like Chris Pratt. I just want to play Mario.
Exactly.
Like, who gives a
that's
fuck?
the point. That's the point. And because fundamentally, you can then change that character's voice actor, like we literally just did with Mario. Wow, I'm using Mario as a metaphor for a long time. We're probably going to be using Mario Wonder for our video, but we're gonna do that. They just replaced the voice, right? Mm-hmm. Charles Martinet fully retired, and Ken Afghani, I think that's how he pronounces his name, is the new Luigi, Mario, and Wario. I'll have reviews on that later, but that's literally we just did that.
Yeah.
But Mario didn't change looks or anything.
Yeah.
Like imagine if Bayonetta looked like what's her face from the first two.
Yeah.
Then they had to change it because they got another person to voice their.
Yeah.
Even though they just kind of introduced multi-dimension timelines and stuff like that, so we don't know who's the real Bayonetta anymore. Which I honestly think that would be hilarious in Bayonetta 4, Diablo 4. But yes. If that's happening everywhere, and I think the uglification. Well, even the ESA admitted that you need characters that are far more relatable.
Yeah.
Which only apparently applied to women. You had to make them kind of grotesque, and I'm like, there's a reason why the weird anime characters in mobile games are like getting thousands of likes and millions of views because your stuff looks like feet.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's people who are in the feet. So
yeah, but did you notice how few are in the feet? That's why there's only a few who like it. Like, genuinely. Oh, my God, that looks like a cuticle. Yeah, that's called a smile, dude. That's kind of gross.
There's a lot of people who are in the feet. Those are probably bots, too, right?
They're probably bots. They're all the same dude's account. All the same 3 dudes account. I guarantee
yeah,
it.
man, we've been right about everything so far, so fuck these people.
Yeah,
man.
right? We need new conspiracies. But, yeah. So, if you hear a major, like, even if it's a game you like and you know it's good and you're getting, like, major, don't trust it. Don't trust it. Don't trust it.
Because you are probably right.
You are probably right. It doesn't matter, because if you like it, fuck everyone else. Look at me. I'm the only one that likes Codename Steam, because I just watched some other YouTuber trash the shit out of it the other night. I don't know what to do with myself right now. But, on that, we are probably just going to go ahead and give a little recap on BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. That's mostly going to be me ranting again.
I don't know anything about BlizzCon.
So for a lot of people who don't know BlizzCon, because I know there's probably a few people who don't know, it's basically Blizzard Entertainment's own convention thing that has happened for many, 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 many years. And it is a place where it's basically their Direct meets E3. It's all Blizzard games all the time. It's in person. They have all sorts of community stuff going on. I've been there a couple times. It's been a fun time. I was never there when they would be announcing new stuff, though. I'm kind of sad by that. My timing sucks. But I decided to give it a watch. I'm usually in and out of World of Warcraft. I'll visit in, see if there's anything fun. If it's not, and then I leave. No deal. I want to like Diablo 4 more. I have more on that later. And this year they announced a pretty good amount of stuff. They announced a new expansion for Diablo 4 that's coming out in the winter of next year. Late fall, winter of next year. They're going to cover a lot of it on the summer, so it was only a teaser. It looks nice. I'm excited for it. I'll see what it rolls out, but I'd rather see what Season 3 has.
Okay.
They announced stuff for Overwatch, which was basically a lot of the... Yeah, it was basically... they added a new Maui character, basically.
Yeah.
The Maui at home, as it were. Then they announced some kind of crossover they have with Le Seraphim, a K-pop band. Kind of like the up-and-coming K-pop band, so it's
that
like... That
kind of explains that weird animation they made.
Yeah. Well, that was exactly what... That animation was for an event. and then Le Seraphim was supposed to be at BlizzCon this year too.
Okay.
I didn't watch the second day. I just watched the opening and I watched and read the recaps and that's the only thing that was important to me this year. And then Warcraft got a new mobile game that released. It's been fun. Tried it. Hearthstone released new stuff. I can't get into card games. Piss off. And then they brought back the original creator or original writer for Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft all the way up to Warlords of Draenor back into the fray. And he decided to basically go, there's way too many hooks, and decided to make an announcement that the next 3 expansions are going to be a major crossover arc. So that means the expansions will not be... This is the evil monster. We defeated an evil monster. New one came up and we killed that. New one, like for every expansion. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's going to be an overarching theme across the next 3 expansions. So for the next 6 years, roughly, and it's supposed to be kind of setting how Warcraft as a universe is going to be told for the next 20 years. Okay. So it's bold. It's kind of like they took the Marvel Cinematic Universe approach with this, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the major takeaway. And this next section is, they announced the new expansions. I'm not into the whole cosmic voidy light stuff as much as I am with the other stuff that they do. I always felt like it was one of those overlooming, it will happen one day type of things. Like it was that major cosmic threat. But I feel like they're like, maybe we're dangling this too much, and they're just fine pulling the cord on it.
Okay.
Right? I will say Microsoft buying them, because Phil Spencer came out, everybody fucking went ballistic. There was a couple recordings of people crying because how excited they were to see Phil Spencer at BlizzCon.
They're all bots.
They're bots, exactly. They were paid by HBO. But I was like, what the hell, dude? No. I was like $5 say by the end of BlizzCon, we will see a sliver of what Microsoft's about to do. And I'm right. They announced how the new editions of the expansion is going to come out. Mm-hmm. First, it's all going to be digital.
Oh, yeah.
So all those books right there, it stopped. They will probably not do another. They might announce one later, though. They didn't talk about it. They just kind of skipped over that question immediately. When they're like, hey, is there going to be a physical edition? They just fucking tossed it out the window. And in order to get beta and 2-week access to the game before anyone else, you have to pay a whopping $185 for an edition, a digital edition, for all the other bells and whistles that comes with, plus beta access and early access. They're literally paywalling to get you to get any access to anything.
Let me guess. It's still fucking buggy, isn't it?
Dude, well, the problem with Diablo when it happened was all these people who got early access did videos and stuff. They wanted to get their likes and clicks and views. They didn't do any reviews. They didn't do any reports. They're like, yeah, man, it's so buggy. I hope they fix it. I'm like, bitch, they ain't watching your fucking show. You literally have a report button on the corner of the fucking menu, and you just click it. Report bug. Give feedback, and you type that crap in.
Isn't it
and
just
that way they can read it and go, okay. No, they have server slams and stress tests for in other times, but they will invite a bunch of people and be like, all right, we need you to track down all the weird issues that come out. Mm-hmm. But there's so many people who are so hung up on getting internet validation that beta testing is just a way to say I'm exclusive. Like, I honestly feel like that's exactly what it is. And now people are selling beta phases. I'm like, you're not. That's not what beta's for, though, moron.
Yeah.
There was another game that sold a beta test separately from the game. So you spent half the amount to get access to beta, which doesn't have any access after that, and no rewards after that, and then you just pay for the real game later.
So if we beta test, we won't have bugs, right?
Yeah.
Piss me off.
Because no one's reporting them, dude. No one's reporting them. But yes, outside that, the BlizzCon started to stink like a lot like a Microsoft convention. And honestly, I feel like in the next coming years, it will just get rolled into a Microsoft convention. We'll have Blizzard Day in it.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, dude.
They can still monetize it though. So
they're gonna monetize it. That's exactly what they're gonna do.
Okay, gotcha.
It was free this year.
Gotcha.
They're going to monetize it. Do not even think for a second that Microsoft isn't gonna be like $5. And then
you
if
want
you
to be
other
exclusive,
things,
right?
Yep, it's gonna be that way, and all these guys are gonna be like, "Come on, man, you need to understand. Microsoft's just doing this so they can make a little bit of money back from spending so much on us." I'm like, "Shut up." No, they need to make some money back after buying up all the people because they can't create games themselves.
Yeah,
that's literally what it is. Bungie made them Halo. They didn't make Halo. They had to buy other people because their attempts is brute force and Blinks the Time Sweeper, and you know how wonderful they went. And they're like, "Oh no, we let them pick what they want to develop." Yeah, but you also get to pick no.
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't even tell me that. And it's funny how they keep saying that, but it's the producers. It's like your mom saying, "Oh, he's such a good kid," yet you're suffering from depression.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It is exactly like that. But this long, your turn's going to have to slow down, and we're going to probably have to wrap that up right now. So I want to go ahead and thank you all for listening to a very lengthy Your Turn Again, because I don't know when to shut up. If you like our content, if you like to have our content grow, feel free to like, subscribe, and always share our content. And as always, we will see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.